This is my weekly weight loss update that we're doing live today. I got my buddy over here. There's Dusty hanging out in the little flower basket there. But anyways, so how did this week go? This was, hope everybody had a happy 4th of July weekend. I had a pretty good time. For the first time in a very long time, I actually had a holiday off where I could enjoy it with my family. So we got out and we had a pretty good time. Festivities here in downtown Anchorage. I did not see any fireworks. We have plenty of fireworks going off around here in the neighborhood. And of course, there's always people trying to burn down the trailer park with fireworks every year. But as far as my carnivore weight loss journey is going, I have figured out how to just maintain whatever weight loss I've had for, it seems like a month, almost 2 months now. It's just like perpetually ongoing and forever and ever and ever. But we're just going to take it like it is, and we're going to come up with a plan for next week. And this is what I got here. I'm going to be eating nothing but sardines for this week, and I also got a case of these oysters. So these are going to be my 2 meals for the week. So I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to break these up. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 6 cans in here, so that's potentially 6 days. But I usually do 5 days a week, no matter what I do. If I'm doing the like serious only carnivore type eating, I do that for 5 days, and then I kind of just ease up a little bit on the weekend. Or if I'm doing my 90-10 eating principle, I do that for 5 solid days, and then I just the same. I ease up a little bit on the weekend. But yeah, I got I'm not sure how many are in here, but I'm gonna have to divide whatever's in here up through the week as well. And then this opens in a funny way. How do I get this open? Oh, it's taped shut. Of course they want to tape it shut. We're going to tear it apart. See how many of these are in here. So I'm trying to just get a decent guess as to how many of these I'm going to have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as well in here. So I got 6 of these, 6 of these. So I'm going to split these up throughout all of next week. And this is going to be all of my calories for the entire week, except for my electrolytes, my vitamins, and my other nutrients. And we're going to see if I can actually get some decent weight loss out of just doing this. I've already done a sardine fast before where I've eaten nothing but this amount of sardines in a week. And I had some pretty dramatic weight loss there. I lost about 7 pounds. I have not tried mixing the two together. I have tried sardines and eggs, and that lost me a good 7 to 14 pounds on average. For the most part, all of these dramatic fastings and things I've done throughout this entire weight loss journey, I've managed to lose anywhere between 7 to 14 pounds per 5-day period. Like I said, I only do 5 days a week, and then I take the weekends kind of off. I try to keep it keto friendly and just make life kind of work. But some of my basic snacks are chomps, and I also have another brand. It's called Think. It's similar to Chomps. It's equally as good. It's very clean. Whoever came up with this design for the marketing of Chomps or Think is pretty good, because these are always sold out here. I mean, they sell out of Chomps first, then the Think brand sells out next, and then there's all the traditional beef jerky types, like Jack Links and stuff like that, and what is that, Slim Jims. People don't care too much for that because they're overly processed. They're not super healthy for us, and they make us feel like absolute yuck afterwards. But yeah, that is what it is. So, but anyways, so this entire week I did 24-hour fasting since I'm back to work now, and that is going great, by the way. I do believe that I am starting to gain some muscle because I have been doing a lot more physical type activities, getting in and out of the truck. I have to open and close these really heavy metal container doors over and over and over again. I've been dropping and hooking trailers. So like I said, I'm in and out of the truck. I'm constantly stepping up, stepping down. My legs are getting stronger. My feet felt absolutely amazing yesterday. I'm not sure where that came from, because I was starting to feel a little bit of inflammation in my feet, a little bit of swelling there, almost like water retention, but it wasn't really. And then all of a sudden, it was like yesterday, it just went away, and I just felt like $1,000,000. So throughout this week, we have had a very busy week here at the house. Me and my wife, we broke broke the bed frame, so we had to run out and get a new bed frame over the weekend. We got that set up, it's in place. And then we wanted to tear down my kid's bunk bed. We had one of those bunk beds from Amazon. We had to tear it down, and we went and purchased another bed frame for them, so that's in place. But overall, we've had a lot going on around the house. You can see I'm out here in my entryway. I love this space, by the way, but we took a couch. So this is the couch from the living room, and we put it out here in the entryway. This place is usually just a catch-all for everybody, but right now we have a nice little friendly space here where me, the animals, my family can just kind of chill out and relax. And we got the beautiful sunshine beaming down on top of my head, so it's pretty good there. Let's see, those are sardines. I ate they're wild caught. I don't know, those are the sardines I eat. They're wild caught. I haven't looked into these too much. This is just what I found at Costco, the Costco Business Center to be exact. It says skinless, boneless. I really don't care. Sardines to me are sardines. The only difference is what they're packaged in. I'll take the, like these here are packaged in 100% olive oil. I'll eat that, or packaged in water. Soybean oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, I stay far away from that. That's just yuck and gross. And same goes for these oysters. These oysters are also packaged in olive oil as well. And these actually tasted pretty good the last time I tried them out. And I wasn't too horribly upset. They are a product of China, so if that's somebody's preference to stay away from that, absolutely stay away from this particular type of smoked oyster, because it is a product of China. This one here is a product of Morocco, so these sardines. And as long as they work for me, I don't really care where they come from or a whole lot of other stuff, but I do care about certain added ingredients like soy and stuff like that. Yesterday we went out to the Costco Business Center. Like I said already, we purchased these items. I also purchased a big giant thing of pork loin because it was on sale for 97 cents a pound. I threw that just straight in the crock pot. I tossed a whole onion on top of it, and I seasoned it up with Redmond's real garlic salt and Redmond's seasoned salt. Excuse me, seasoned salt. And that was it came out pretty good. The only problem that I had is it didn't really absorb any of the flavor from that whole onion and put in there. So it didn't have it was just tasted like pork when it came out. And that was a little disappointing. I was hoping it was going to, take on some of that Redmond salt flavoring, because the traditional way of cooking it used to be like with red wine. And let's see, what else did the people put in there that I don't really want right now? There was something else. Oh, the packet of onion soup. So there's a lot of stuff in that onion soup that I didn't really care for. So I decided to just come up with my own version. And I used one can of Swanson's chicken broth, just for liquid. And that's all it took. I thought for sure I was going to need 2. I only needed 1 can, but I had like 4 or 5 pounds of pork loin in the crock pot. So it was pretty impressive there. Hello there, Lisa Blessed Life. Appreciate you dropping in. Yeah, we're just talking a little bit about how my week went. I was doing, like I said, 24-hour fasting all week long. So that means I wasn't eating breakfast. I was just drinking water. I was packing water to work with me. I was packing electrolytes. So I was drinking approximately 1 gallon of water, which is almost a half gallon less than what I normally drink. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but like I said, my weight is just plateaued. I'm like stuck between 306 and 308. It seems like for the last month and a half now. So, and I'm trying to do something somewhat dramatic. So this is going to be my basic food for the next week, at least until next Saturday. And we're just going to pray that I'm going to have some weight loss and get down below 300 pounds. I'm just tired of it, just tired of the plateau. And I've heard a lot about these carnivore diet plateaus. There's been 100 people that I've talked to already that have had plateaus, and some of them have lasted for like 6 months. Another person I talked to said his lasted for about 1 year, which is a long time for a plateau, weight loss plateau, especially if you're just eating a carnivore diet type meal plan in the first place. And these people claim to be pretty strict about their diet. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they're not. I'm as honest as I can be. I typically do a 90-10 eating principle. So that's 90% meats and fats and 10% I don't care what the rest of it is. Could be anything. I try to just stay away from a lot of specific inflammatory type ingredients. And that's the way I've been for quite a while now. And that's been working. That's been working really well. And it's not necessarily been perfect for weight loss, but it's been really, really good for weight loss maintenance. So I'm not going to be retaining water as a general rule. I need to take care of the garbage here. But here just a little bit ago, I had, I think I cooked about a pound, maybe a pound and a half of 80-20 burger patties, or they might have been the 70-30. Our Costco business center runs out of ground beef pretty quickly. So I have to get basically whatever's there. I will not buy the 90% or 95% lean type meat. My wife's inside beating on the wall. She's hanging all kinds of pictures. But she's trying to make the house a little bit more cozy because we've been moving so much stuff around and just cleaning out all the nonsense inside. So, okay, hey guys, since I got you in here, yeah, I'll show you around the little room I got here. But yeah, this is just my basic entryway that I built. There's a lot to look at in here. And then there's my fluffy kitty. This cat just did this, like came out here and decided like I'm gonna sit in that box. But yeah, we got our couch out here. There's the cat shelf up there. I'm usually sitting right behind, right here in the kitchen. That's where I'm normally sitting, where I do most of my filming for the most part. So let's see if I can get this. There we go. Okay. Oh, hey there. Look at that. Okay, that'll work. Anyway, so what's going on with you guys? I mean, no sugar for good for you. I really try to stay away from the sugar, especially high fructose corn syrup. That is an absolute no. We don't mess around with anything, and it has high fructose corn syrup. I try to keep it out of everything that my family has as well. So if I see some stuff come in the house with high fructose, it might just disappear, but it does on occasions, just happens to disappear. Now, when it comes to sauces and stuff like that, I don't worry about natural sugar too much. A little bit of brown sugar that's added into the sauce, as long as it's pretty far down on the ingredient list. If it's right up on top, yeah, that I might stay away from that or use very, very little amount. For a while there, I was into the barbecue sauces, different types of barbecue sauces, especially from Kinder's. Now, there's a lot of Kinder sauces out there that I don't want either, because there's a lot of various ingredients that are in the Kinder sauces that don't really jive too well with my gut. And since I was so unhealthy for so long, my gut is extremely sensitive to soy products. So I try to stay away from soy at all costs. High fructose corn syrup would throw me in for a loop. It's just too sweet. It's a super sweetener. It's nonsense. Corn oil and other seed oils I just avoid altogether. I have been doing a lot of discussion with other people about oxalates. You know, people did bring up that discussion with me a couple of weeks ago about oxalates and how our body actually creates oxalates on its own, especially with like vitamin C and stuff like that. So I did do some research. I did look into the oxalates that our bodies actually produce for themselves, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, wow, our bodies really do create oxalates, but our body is naturally adaptive to being able to deal with a certain amount of oxalates. And also along that topic, some basic ingredients that I try to avoid, it's like garlic, black pepper, almonds. No, almonds can just stay away. Almonds are super high in oxalates, especially if they're raw. And that's been a lot of the problems that a lot of us have had over the years with vegetables, that most people just don't even know that they're a problem. Because when vegetables are not cooked, they're higher in oxalates. So if I were to have, let's say, some garlic or some black pepper, I can have it as long as it's been cooked. Because if it's been cooked, it automatically just kind of cuts it right in half, the oxalate contents in half. And then I don't have to worry too much about the oxalate contamination going on inside my body as much. But it's just, it's just one of those things to be aware of, that some people have oxalate issues. And until you just get 90% to 100% of those oxalates out of your system, you're just not going to know that oxalates are the problem. Just the same thing with sugar. You can't you can't just tiptoe around sugar. I mean, if you're going to eat cookies, you're going to eat cake once in a while, you're going to have ice cream. Sugar substitutes I find are extremely dangerous for a lot of people because they trigger people to go jump right into other things that they might not really even think about, because eating habits and my bad habits were done in such a way that I was just doing it, you know, almost unconsciously. It's like I was just on autopilot heading to the pantry and I just start plugging stuff into my mouth. And then I got to be 435 pounds and couldn't tie my shoes, incredibly uncomfortable, nothing worked right. My body didn't work right. I feel great now. I'm 50 years old doing the carnivore diet. I feel like I'm 30 years old. I'm functioning at work like I'm a 30-year-old, not a 50-year-old anymore. And it's just really hard for me to have these conversations with the younger guys that they just don't get it yet. There was another gentleman I talked to just recently, and I kind of worry about him because I see what he's eating, and I looked at him. I was like, what diagnosis do you need? What exact diagnosis do you need for you to make a lifestyle change? I said, do you need a diagnosis of cancer? Do you need diabetes? Do you need a heart condition? Brain tumor, something? Do you need a diagnosis for you to start taking your health seriously? And he kind of stood there and stared at me for a second. He's like, well, I never thought about it like that. And I'm like, yeah. I said, that's when most people get started. That's a lot, how a lot of us got started, and myself included. You could just sit here and talk about this stuff all day long and go in one ear right out the other. And that's the gap that I've been trying to bridge with just everyday average people about just basic health and nutrition. And because if you start just a little bit, even if you start just learning how to read ingredients, and the fact that if you flip over a package and it's got a laundry list of ingredients that's almost bigger than the box, there's a problem there. There's already a problem if it's got that many ingredients. For one thing, if it comes in a box, that's a red flag to me. Stuff like this, this is in a box, it's in a can, but it's fish inside here, and also the oysters. That's there's oysters inside this box, inside a can. So, but the ingredient list is very, very minimal. So it's only got a few things in here. Let's see what these sardines have on the back here. Okay, ingredients: sardines, olive oil, salt, contains fish. There's your ingredients there. Now the oysters, on the other hand, they might have a couple more ingredients, but let's see here. Ingredients: smoked oysters, olive oil, salt. Oh, there we go, same thing. Just a couple basic ingredients in here. We don't need all this extra stuff, caking powder, caking agents, stuff that's just going to make it last longer on the shelves. That's the stuff that I've been trying to just get away from. Just stay away from that stuff, and everything seems to work out pretty good. Now I think these chomps here, they probably have more ingredients. Actually, these aren't too bad either. These are pretty. It's got a pretty short ingredient list too. These are clean, by the way. These are some of the. Let's see. There we go. Maybe, I don't know. Here we go. Aha. But these are some of the cleanest beef sticks you can get. That's why I tend to buy them in the first place. This is grass finished beef, water less than 2%, encapsulated lactic acid, sea salt, cultured celery powder, sea salt, cherry powder, black pepper, red pepper, garlic powder, coriander, stuffed in beef collagen casing. Now I said before, I try to avoid black pepper and garlic as well. But the way that they put this in here, I believe it's cooked, because I have not yet had a problem with what's inside these beef sticks here. And if I did, I would be finding me something else. But that's another thing, is you remove stuff for a period of time. And that's where the carnivore diet comes in super handy, is that we can get really strict on the carnivore diet, even if it's only for 30 days. That's removing all the bull crap. That's all the crap out of your diet. And then we can just figure out what we're going to add in shortly after that. So if you wanted to add in, if you wanted to just try a bowl of cereal, for instance, try a bowl of cereal, wait a couple days, see how it makes you feel. If there's something else just random that you thought was somewhat healthy and you wanted to try, like maybe have a healthy type snack, regardless of what it is, regardless of the ingredients, but you just wanted to see if that was making you feel a certain way or causing you inflammation. Do carnivore for 30 days and then take something simple, add it in, give it at least 3 days. at least 3 days to see if anything changes in your mood, your attitude, your body chemistry. There's a whole lot of stuff that can happen. You can get, I had arthritis in my hands. Just making a fist like this was hurting me. I almost couldn't move my wrist back and forth. And the carnivore diet has fixed all of that. I couldn't sit down for this long and have a conversation, let alone string together a bunch of words and make a complete coherent sentence. That was something else that sugar was screwing up in me. So since I got away from all of that, I've been able to, gain the ability to have conversations with strange people, do these live streams, get out here on YouTube and explain my situation and my experience with other people, and hopefully try to help somebody like myself, that might be just needing something in their life, because so many of us have been overweight, and almost everybody that I know has struggled with some form of weight loss in their life. But it's so much easier than being a gerbil. You don't have to be a gerbil running on a wheel. You don't have to get on a treadmill. You don't have to run miles. You don't have to hike up mountains. Even though that stuff is helpful, that doesn't get you healthy. Doing all that stuff makes you fit. You can be fit and very, very metabolically unhealthy. And that's where the carnivore type diet comes in. Now, some of the people at work that I do work with, one of the guys, he's from the Congo, and we talked about his diet. And there was another gentleman there. He's also from Africa. He moved up here and he works with us. And I talked to both of them about their diets. And I asked, hey man, what do you guys eat in the village? Because they're village people. They're not, like city life living in Africa. They're actually living in a village. They're gathering, they're foraging, they're hunting. He said they eat meat. 99% of their diet is meat. He said the only time they add fruits, vegetables, or anything like that is when they're starving. And I found that incredibly interesting. Both these guys, extremely healthy dudes. They can do anything you ask them to do, and that's still what they eat. And they come here to the United States and they see what we're doing to ourselves, and they stay pretty much silent about it. They're just kind of like, okay, yeah. But they don't eat that way. The stuff they pack to work is, pretty healthy food, and they try to keep it as clean as possible. And like I said, they're at least 90% meats and fats, and then the other 10%, who really cares? Because they're doing well. They're physically active. They've been doing this for so many years, and it just works. And this is why the carnivore diet works for so many other people like myself. And the carnivore diet came as a complete surprise to me, because I've heard about it for many years, as many people have. We've all heard about the carnivore diet. Okay, the carnivore diet seems like hocus pocus voodoo cuckapoo to anybody that's eating the standard American diet, anybody that's addicted to sugar. You start talking about the carnivore diet and they look at you like you got 12 heads, big bald head. But you get what I'm saying here. Is it just seemed like hocus pocus nonsense. I'm that guy that thought it was hocus pocus nonsense. But I was running out of options, like many other people that have been doing the carnivore diet. We ran out of options. So some of these people that I know now in the carnivore community, they were heavily medicated. Some of them on mood stabilizers and stuff like that. A lot of people were on heart medication, diabetes medication, and all of them have claimed to have come off of these medications just with the carnivore diet alone. Just being able to stabilize my blood sugar was great, even though I was never a diabetic, and thankfully I wasn't. But now I know I'm not going to be a diabetic because I'm eating a carnivore type lifestyle, because I'm just not adding in all the crap. I'm not adding in all the seed oils, the inflammatory type products that create cancer. And that's another thing, is people don't understand how these vegetable oils and seed oils are actually part of the cause of a lot of cancers that people are getting now. And cancer in the country is on the rise. And it's time we actually start stepping up and trying to do something about it. Every time somebody gets into a bag of Doritos or goes to Taco Bell or eats McDonald's fast food, I just it's like, wow, you just stop. It's like, I wish we could just all stop it, because a lot of these places, they're just trying to make $1, and they're selling these dollar items for $5 to $10 for a crappy burger that's not even good for you. The burger patties themselves, I've looked into them. They're made from pretty low quality meat. They are 100% meat, if you want to call them that, but they're not high quality. They're the lowest quality meat that you could possibly get. There's not a lot of fat content in the meat. So you might be getting a little bit of protein in there, but you're not getting the fat that we need. And as a carnivore, we actually burn, our body runs off the fat. If we don't have fat, we don't have energy. We can't just eat like 95% lean ground beef and then call it good for the day. We have to find our fat elsewhere. We either have to add it in with bacon fat, beef tallow, butter, for instance. That's how we can get other types of fat. And if you eat fatty type fish like salmon and stuff like that, that's got a lot of fat in there too. So that's going to digest well and it's going to work in our system. When I started the carnivore diet, I had a problem. I had a problem because I bought the wrong type of meat. I bought 95% lean meat at a butcher, and I bought like 50 pounds of it. And I thought I was golden. I was like, oh yeah, I'm on my way to the carnivore diet. I'm gonna do great. It's the wrong type of meat, man. It's not the right fat content. You want to have at least 80-20 or 70-30 when it comes to 30% fat or 20% fat, and you can always add in extra fat. But I didn't know that when I got started. So I had all kinds of digestive issues. I only thought I knew a lot, and I didn't. I found out the hard way. I really didn't know a lot about anything. So that was kind of frustrating. All right, let's see. I can do something different here. All right, there's vitamin C in meat. Absolutely, there is vitamin C in meat, but there's just enough. I mean, that's the beauty of it. We're not overdoing it with the meat. Let's see. I see I missed a lot in here. A lot of these things have been removed. That's okay. The longer you use by date, the worse it is for us. Yeah, I don't go off of use by dates anymore because, since I'm doing the carnivore diet and I'm eating just meats and fats, I don't really have a need to have a stockpile of just random foods. I mean, if I will stockpile anything, it'd be like, sardines, oysters, maybe like canned chicken broth, stuff like that, or canned beef broth, stuff that would stay, I could use in the long term. That stuff would be okay to stockpile on, but I was stockpiling all the wrong stuff through the pandemic. I had mac and cheese, I had SpaghettiOs, I had raviolis, but the problem was I was eating that stuff. I was eating out of that pantry, and I don't know how many cans of like boxes of mac and cheese, all different types of like, we got planes like nonstop coming across here. But I had boxes of like all different types of rices, flavored rices, and then the stuff that's in the rice. I couldn't believe it when I started understanding ingredients and started reading through what was in my pantry. I think I did a whole video where actually it might have been a live stream where I took everybody in my pantry and we just started breaking down all the ingredients that were in everything. I mean, peanut butter and jelly, when did that become so evil? I mean, it's evil now. Because I was looking at the just regular Smucker's jelly, something you would probably make for your kids to go to school, the peanut butter and jelly. Well, the peanut butter's got high fructose corn syrup, and it's also got a bunch of other unnatural ingredients in there as well that you don't need in it. And then the jelly also has added sugar, high fructose corn syrup, and a bunch of other different types of sugar, sweeteners, and preservatives. It doesn't need it. It's jelly, it's jam. That's the whole point of making jelly and jam, is because it preserves the fruit and it makes it, yeah. I mean, this is just the problems we've been running into in this country. So a lot of these things, these hidden little things, are in a lot of our food. Some of the favorite things like ketchup, for instance, high fructose corn syrup. Barbecue sauces, high fructose corn syrup. You got to read your ingredients. It's better off to choose natural sugar type sauces if you can, than the high fructose corn syrup, because if it's got high fructose corn syrup, they're going to be adding in a bunch of other stuff to try to balance and then do all this science with it. And if it requires a whole lot of science, then it's really not that great anyways. That's also why I don't like the vegan diet. The vegan diet takes a lot of science to make the vegan diet work. And that's why I'm not a promoter of the vegan diet as per se. I mean, I know some people that are doing kind of okay on it, but they're moody, and they're really not as healthy as they think they are. Because if we go out and do stuff, I can do stuff just fine, and they get powered out pretty quick. And I'm 300 and something pounds. And that's scary to me. Seeing somebody that looks fit, but they're not fit. Yeah, they're just unhealthy. I mean, like I said, you can be fit and you can also be unhealthy. I know a lot of fit people that are extremely unhealthy metabolically. But yeah, I missed some stuff here. All right. Let's see, portobello mushrooms, great plant compounds like B vitamins, potassium, selenium, copper. Uh, yeah, I'm not big on the mushrooms. I'm not against vegetables, guys. I'm definitely not against vegetables, but there's a lot of vegetables I avoid now. Lettuce is one of them. One of the most innocent vegetables that I avoid specifically is lettuce. Because when I was going through a lot of fasting and just removing everything, I thought one day, oh, okay, the wife's making a salad, no big deal. I'll have a bowl of salad to try to fill me up. Well, the salad didn't fill me up, so I wound up eating more salad. That didn't fill me up, so I had like 3 of these big, giant, like Oriental-sized bowls, for the noodle bowls, just full of salad. I wasn't full. There was some protein in there. There was some cheese in there. The salad dressing was probably way out in left field, because a lot of salad dressings have high fructose soybean oil and corn oil and canola oil and all that nonsense. So that wasn't helping. But the thing is once I ate that salad, I was almost instantaneously drawn to go to the pantry and get some sort of nasty dessert or candy bar, cookie or something like that. And it clicked in my brain at that moment. I was like, wow. So eating that salad triggered me to want to go eat junk food? How weird. So it's just one of those things we learn about ourselves as we're just trying to, build ourselves up, educate ourselves a little bit as to what our triggers are, our emotions and stuff like that. Because, that's one thing I love about fasting is fasting teaches you a lot about yourself. It teaches you a lot about your emotional type eating, because you're just withdrawn from all the food. You just take all your food, you just push it away. Okay, you stay over there for a while. That's the whole point of fasting. It's to see how you feel. I mean, it's like an internal interview with yourself where you're finally getting to understand, okay, like, why am I craving certain things? What am I wanting? Why am I wanting it? How am I feeling when I want these things? How am I feeling when I eat these things? Because traditionally we tend to reward children with treats. Like the little boy sat in the barbershop chair and didn't fuss about it, didn't cry getting his hair cut. What do? They give him a lollipop. I mean, there's all these treats that we've gotten throughout the years. Everybody wins a baseball game. We take them out for ice cream. Yeah, take them out for pizza. That's kind of what we do in this country. That's something that's been going on since I've been a little tiny kid. I mean, then we got all these holidays, and then we got more holidays, and then we keep adding on holidays. And the majority of these holidays are all based around unhealthy, sugary type foods. At what point do we slow it down? At what point do we stop the process? Do we just say no more? You can't do that because it's really hard to limit the amount of sugar we have as a general rule. At least with me, for instance, if I tried to get into sugar, like if I started eating chocolate chip cookies, yeah, I'd probably want to just continuously eat chocolate chip cookies until they were all gone. There were no more. This is also another reason why I don't buy like packaged type cookies like Oreos or something like that, because that would trigger me to want to eat the entire package. Another thing is these overly processed foods like crackers, like Cheez-Its was another one of my nemesis. Is I used to eat a lot of Cheez-Its. They were my favorite. There's all kinds of stuff in Cheez-Its and Triscuits, those little chicken biscuits or whatever you want to call those things. I was eating the whole box. I mean, I wouldn't just stop it, just eat a handful. I would eat the whole box. The same thing with potato chips. If I bought a big bag of potato chips, I would just sit here on the couch and just eat potato chips. No different than a bag of popcorn. Same thing. I would eat the whole bag of popcorn. I lost my ability to limit myself. That's where fasting really came in handy. That's also where carnivore really comes in handy. Because, like I said, I just ate 1.5 pounds of food, of meat, ground beef, burger patties, and I don't feel like I need a snack. I don't feel like I need something like right now, like I used to. Because if you eat the right amount of meats, you don't need anything else for the rest of the day. And like I say, I typically do OMAD. So 1 meal a day, approximately 24-hour fasting, but it's called OMAD because sometimes that meal, it might be in a different little spot in the window there. And I typically eat the majority of my calories Monday through Friday in a 2-hour window. So it doesn't matter what my calories are. It's just those calories in a 2-hour window. After that, nothing else. Take a shower, get ready for bed, get everything ready for work the next day, get up, just rinse and repeat the cycle for 5 solid days. Now, most people can do a 5-day schedule when it comes to, some sort of healthy way of life. And it works really well. And that's why I try to promote that. The 5 days, kind of chill out on the weekends. It's really hard to wreck a solid week of progress with 2 days over the weekend. I mean, if people are into drinking alcohol, that's a little bit different story. I don't drink alcohol, so I really cannot relate to trying to lose weight or doing carnivore while drinking alcohol, because those that I have talked to have a difficult time with the carnivore diet and also have a difficult time with weight loss when they're adding in alcohol and a lot of heavy type drinking on the weekends. But I understand people are young. They've got to be realistic. And it's really hard. It's really hard to like try to balance that. It's like you need to be a little bit strict, but you also need to be realistic with yourself. That's why I believe 90-10 eating principle works really well. 90% meats and fats, 10% I love my life. And as long as you love yourself and you're taking care of yourself, and that's the key there, is you're continuously trying to take care of yourself for at least 5 straight days. Take care of yourself, however you want on the weekends. Try to keep it keto friendly if possible. If weight loss is your goal, that's going to be how it's going to work best. The majority of my strict fastings that I've done, like 5-day water fast or rolling 36-hour fast, the ones that have lost me anywhere between 15 to 30 pounds, some of them have lost me 7 to 14 pounds. Those were all on a 5-day schedule. None of those carried on through the weekend. So that was, I weigh myself every Saturday. And I recommend people do this as a religion. Just weigh yourself Saturday morning after your body had a chance to relax, from the work week or whatever you're doing for the week. But that is technically a fast from the time you go to bed to the time you wake up. That gives your body a chance to recover from whatever you did to it the day before or just before bedtime. That way you're going to get the most reliable weight on the scale is, first thing Saturday morning. But regardless of what time of day you weigh yourself, just keep it the same. Keep it the same, and then don't just continuously get on that scale, because that will drive you bonkers. That will drive you back to the kitchen, back to the pantry, and just be like, I'm giving up. I'm just tired of it, because people will give up on themselves, pretty quickly, and that's kind of scary, because I was that guy too. I gave up on myself I don't know how many times, and it just takes forever to recover from those wacky moments where we make those mistakes. So we try not to make mistakes when we can. Is there only one type of sugar? No, there's several different types of sugar. But the problem is with sugar is that I believe there's 61 different names. The first time I looked it up, there was about 50 some names for sugar, and the last time I think I looked it up on Google, I believe there's like 61 different names for sugar in the United States. And that's how they're getting it into us, is people don't realize that there's that many names for sugar, let alone they're not reading the ingredient labels. And they're not just putting sugar in there, they're putting like high fructose corn syrup, then they might put some cane sugar in there, and then they might use something called like dextrose, and then they might use something called sucralose. And they're just layering sugar on top of sugar, just like a cake, and it just makes it so much more sugar than what needs to be there. I mean, it's absolutely insane how much sugar that's in these food. I didn't know that, like maltose, that's used to be like a name for a cereal, like almost like a discount brand cereal. It was like maltose when I was a kid. That might even still be available, but that was, the name itself is sugar. It's like, here, sugar, and let's give it to your kid. Gee, I don't know why my kid's got problems in school. Well, you feed him crack before he goes to school. Yeah, your kid's going to have problems when he goes to school. Especially just before lunchtime, because he's going to fall face first on his desk, and then he's going to be irritable and cranky. So what do they do at lunchtime in school? Here, have a freaking treat. And then he goes up for a little while, and then a couple hours later, before he even gets off the school bus, he's already crashing on his face again. It's absolutely crazy. Oh, that's a good one. If it ends in OSE, it is sugar. I never even thought of that. I'll have to I'll have to really start looking at the vocabulary a little better. That's true. Huh. Mm. Yeah, I love these things. Yeah, it'd be hard pressed to get a sponsor from Chomps, man. I could sell these things all day long. I used to sell Kirby vacuum cleaners. Yeah, I could totally sell these things. I could stand on a street corner out here and I could sell out of these things within 4 or 5 hours because people love these things. If I get a decent price, yeah. I'd hold this company up right on top of my shoulders. Ugh. My wife left. She went somewhere. She walked past. I'm not sure where she went. She didn't say where she was going. But anyways, so there's the plan for those of you that might have just tuned in. I'm going to be eating just these and just these throughout the week. Now, I was planning a 5-day water fast last week, and that got botched up because I did not communicate. Now, in order to have a healthy marriage, you need to communicate with your partner or whoever you're with, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, family in general, because you might just happen to come home to a special meal. And in my case, I came home to a nice piping hot cast iron skillet. It was full of hamburger patties for me. And you don't say no to your wife when she puts in that much, it's not a whole lot of effort, but it's still some effort and some thought. So yeah, that botched up my whole entire week when it came to doing a 5-day water fast. And it wasn't a big deal. I thought about just rolling with it because I told her, I said I was planning on fasting, but I was going to eat that food. And then, and I figured, okay, it's a holiday week anyways, so I'm just going to scratch that idea for a 5-day water fast on the holiday week. And yeah, so we went out and had a good time on the 4th of July. We've had a pretty good time since then. I've definitely been getting a lot of hours at this new place here, so I've been busy. And the nice part about having steady employment while you're trying to do all this is, for me at least, I can just go to work and then come home and I eat dinner. I don't want to eat anything when I'm at work. I don't bring anything to work with me. I don't even bring snacks anymore. For a while there, I was bringing beef sticks with me. I was also bringing hard-boiled eggs that were already peeled in a Tupperware. I'd bring anywhere from 3 to 4 of those with me to work. When I was back in my snacking phase of the carnivore diet, because for a little while there, it took me a while to get off of snacks. But the longer I went, even doing 90-10 eating carnivore or dirty carnivore, some people like to call it dirty carnivore, but the majority of it is meats and fats. I was still wanting to snack for a period of time. That lasted for, I think, about 30 to 60 days. And then all of a sudden it was like, I didn't even think about snacks. I didn't even notice I didn't think about snacks until somebody else was talking about it in one of the streams that I was talking to. And I was just really surprised. I was like, wow, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens really fast. So many things that happen so fast when you're doing the carnivore diet that you just don't realize they're happening when they're happening until somebody points it out or asks you a question. Hey, do you remember when you experienced this? And that's where I noticed a lot of things that I had going on, like my back pain. It just mysteriously went away. I had back pain every single day. I mean, lower back pain, specifically middle back pain. I had severe neck pain all the time. And that it was like a light switch. It was like it just went away. But when it goes away, it feels so natural for it to go away because you're starting to feel like you're supposed to feel. I mean, imagine that, feeling normal again. I hear about all of these other carnivores that are having a hard time, and they're definitely doing dirty carnivore when we break it down. They're doing really dirty carnivore, but they're doing it in such a way that they're self-sabotaging their own diet. They're just calling themselves carnivore and then just tossing in so many variables that just confuse everything. They're suffering from arthritis. They're suffering from, leg cramping. There's so many symptoms, back pain. And I hear about it every week, and I try to like baby steps with them, gently say, hey, start getting a little bit more serious. This stuff does go away. You believe the process, just up your fat intake, especially when you're transitioning, for the first 30 to 60 days, just up your fat intake. That's a hard one to wrap your head around. Everything is polar opposite. And I'm the guy that tried screwing up the carnivore diet too, because I was seriously just overeating eggs. I mean, I can't remember how many eggs I ate in a week, and I lost I think one of those times I lost like 14 pounds overeating eggs. And then for another week or two, I was just overeating bacon, like an insane amount of bacon. I was just eating pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of bacon. And I was just like, what's happening to me? My blood pressure is perfect. My everything was getting better. And I thought it was supposed to be the opposite of what I was thinking, because for how many years they tell us, all the cholesterol in eggs is going to give us a heart attack. All the stuff in bacon is going to give me a heart attack too. It's going to clog my arteries, and none of that happened. If anything, my health improved. So I mean, it's just, and I thought for sure I was going to, be that one guy that screwed up the carnivore diet, and no, I didn't. I'm sorry. I tried. Let's see. There's plenty of other channels. Ethan must have got hidden already. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't mind the trolls that much. I mean, unless they're being like really offensive to, people in the thread, I couldn't care less. I mean, people can say whatever they want about me. That's another beautiful thing about the carnivore diet, is that it takes away your sensitivity level. Because before I started carnivore, I was super hormonal about everything. I mean, the simplest things would set me off. If I dropped something on the floor, for instance, I automatically either felt defeated or insulted, just for dropping something on the floor. And I was mad at whatever it was. So if I dropped something on the floor, I'd be like just yelling at it, like, "What? Why did you fall on the floor?" Like it's an inanimate object. It's like, what did it do? Oh. But over a period of time, all of that sensitivity goes away. My self-conscious, type behavior, because I used to be total recluse. I was doing YouTube for about a year, and I was actually scared to be on camera. I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't want to use my own voice, and that's perfectly normal, anyways, for anybody. It's doing anything in life. Most people don't want to hear their own voice. Most people don't want to be on camera. Most people don't want to be the center of attention or to be ridiculed, and I just don't care. I don't care anymore. I mean, it used to hurt my feelings. People used to pick on me about my head. It's like, okay, so what? Let's see. About a year ago, my head was twice this size, and that's a true story. Infinity, you can add some vegetables, can't you? Or like maybe baked potato, butter with a steak. I personally avoid the potato for the most part. For one, the potato skin's got a lot of oxalates in it. Plus, the skin itself is something that just attaches itself to stuff that I really don't want inside my body. Potato is also, can turn into a lot of sugar in the bloodstream. So I just avoid potatoes. Now you can have a pretty healthy lifestyle and still eating potatoes, but if you're trying to do the carnivore diet and you're trying to be serious about the carnivore diet and get the benefits from it, it's a whole lot easier if you just remove a lot of those things that turn to sugar, and that's like 98% of the vegetable world. On occasion, I would have something like an avocado. On occasion, once in a while, I might have a banana. I pretty much, if I have an orange, it has to be like the most perfect orange in the world. The ones I'm talking about that got the really fat skin. It's a thicker type skin, but when it peels, it almost peels itself. I'll eat that particular type of orange if I could ever come across it. I live in Alaska, so it's like almost impossible to find those. But they were something that I used to be able to find like in Southern California. But since I'm up here, I don't worry about oranges too much. Apples, there's a dead no. And there's a lot of vegetables that they would have to be cooked, like really, really cooked, to get the oxalates down low enough that I wouldn't be worried about getting kidney stones. Now, the nicest thing about the carnivore diet is since I've been doing it, I haven't had any kidney stones as a result of anything I've been doing on the carnivore diet. Now, before the carnivore diet, I was eating a pretty heavy loaded down vegetable type diet. I was eating a lot of spinach. I was eating a lot of raw spinach. Boo-boo, don't eat a lot of raw spinach. It's super high in oxalates. And this is stuff that was suggested to me by dietitians and health people and people that were just so genius, and I just don't look at them like they're geniuses anymore. I thought they knew a lot about health and nutrition. but they were doing the exact opposite than what I needed for myself, because yeah, my kidney stones got worse. I almost needed to go in and get it zapped with a laser, or however they do it nowadays. But yeah, I had really horrible, painful kidney stones, but I haven't had any for even the slightest inkling of a kidney stone since I've been on the carnivore diet. I do take magnesium as well, Centrum Silver and vitamin D12. I also take D3. Let's see, how do you get family members to not feel bad when you are? The family members are amazed. Yeah, Wendy. None of my family members care, because they've seen the dramatic improvement in myself and my ability to do stuff, and also the way I handle situations now. Because there was a while there where I couldn't talk on camera with anybody around, anybody in the house, my children in the house. It was just, I was kind of like a recluse child that would just like play in the corner with their toys and didn't want any adults or anybody else seeing me play like, make believe in the corner. I was kind of like that guy, but just older. So yeah, I had a hard time just talking on camera. I had a hard time stringing together a sentence for a long time, but yeah, that just goes away. Should try Stone Stopper. Why? Just eat meat. Just eat meat and cut out all the oxalates. I don't need stuff like Stone Stopper. I don't need aspirin. I don't need pills. I don't need Ozempic. Ozempic is bad news, man. The way they're marketing Ozempic right now, it just scares the bejesus out of me. There's actually a document out there now talking about Ozempic, and some of those people are experiencing some sort of chronic issue where they just lose their eyesight. That's nuts. It's like, yeah, sign me up for that. I know people want to lose weight and they want to do it the easy way. Stop going for the easy stuff, because every time, what was it, Fen? That one was giving everybody heart attacks. There was something before that. People were dying of strokes. Just knock it off with the simple diet pills. There is no solution for somebody's weight that comes in a pill. The only solution that comes in a pill is an early death. That's about it. Those pills all go somewhere. When you start mix matching pills, and crossing them, they don't jive well. They usually, like one pill will just take away the effects of another pill, vice versa. And then those pills have to go somewhere. They go through our filter organs. So they get stuck in our pancreas, they get stuck in our large intestine, small intestines, they get stuck in our liver and our kidneys. And some of them just don't go away. They just keep building up and building up and building up. And eventually we just die as a result of it because we've taken too much. Yeah, Ozempic is horrible stuff. I mean, I was prescribed Ozempic at one time, and I asked them about the side effects of it before they even prescribed it to me. I said, well, I'll take the prescription, but I want to know a little bit more about it. And they weren't giving me any little tiny side effects when I was in the doctor's office. And I understood why as soon as I got home and I really started digging into the side effects of Ozempic. And I was just like, there is so much controversy around that drug. It really doesn't make any sense to take it. So I stayed the heck away from it. I was like, nope, we're not doing this. Little dude over here sleeping in the basket. I wonder if I can do this. Let's see if this works. Is this gonna work? Oh, there we go. Oh, I'll move you over. A little fluffy. But now I'm so far away I can't read what's going on. Everything's in such tiny letter. My husband's cardiologist put him on Ozempic about 3 weeks ago. Ooh, that's scary stuff. Now, if you're a diabetic, Ozempic works great for diabetes. That's what it's prescribed for, people with diabetes. But if you're not diabetic, man, it's just a really, really sketchy way to go. Now, I do have a friend, his wife is diabetic, and since there were so many people that were getting Ozempic for diet and weight loss, reasons, there was that shortage. I don't know if it's still short. There's a bunch of generic type brands that are out right now, and I'm not sure if those are any good either, if they're the same or what, just with a different name. Like a lot of these pills, they typically become the same. But yeah, just there's drink water, eat meat. Getting a little parched with all this talking. If the health system says it's good, then you can be sure there will long-term effects. Unfortunately, that is true. They're saved by Carnivore. Hey, your new name. I haven't heard your name before. Nice to meet you. It's always nice to meet new carnivores in the community because there's a lot of us. There's so many of us on Facebook. I've been meeting a whole bunch more on Facebook lately. Now my Facebook page is not Big Man Alaska. It's Walter King, and that's not even my real name. For some reason, Facebook won't let me use my real name. I don't know what the deal is, so I'm not even worried about that. But if you want to look me up on Facebook, you can find me under Walter King on Facebook. It also say a nickname of Big John. That's what I go by here on YouTube. Any drug you can get at WW or a spa worries me. Yeah, I don't. A lot of these. Remember when that conspiracy went around with GNC type products? Because a lot of those vitamins and stuff for I don't know if they've improved, but a while back. This is a while back. We're talking like 10, 15 years ago back, where GNC people had a big to do that their pills that they were pushing weren't really good pills. They were like just bare minimum. And ever since then, I stopped using a lot of pills. There was a period of time I was taking some, I think they were like super duper caffeine pills or something like that for weight loss. Total joke. All it did was raise my blood pressure. Almost gave me a heart attack like everybody else in the world that got, because we all think that, okay, if one's kind of working, maybe two will work better, because there's a lot of us that do that. There's another energy drink out there. It's called Red Line Energy Drink. Super dangerous energy drink. Shouldn't even be on the market. Super highly caffeinated drink. And it comes in a little bottle about this big, and it's called Red Line. But on the side of it, it gives you dosages and there's about 4 doses per bottle. You're only supposed to take one for like one shot for every 6 hours. But yeah, I was that guy that was drinking the whole bottle, and sometimes 2 or 3 bottles a day. That screwed up my gut. That screwed up my gut lining. I had all kinds of problems from that. But like I said, people just typically aren't responsible when it comes to stuff like that. You start giving them pills, you start giving them shots, and it's just everything goes haywire from there, because we just have this mentality like, oh, okay, this is the easy way out. Let's do the easy way out. And then we overdo the easy way. And then we have to do stuff like this, like the carnivore diet, to try to recreate everything that God created for us in our body. And it just takes a little time and a little patience. That's kind of where I'm at right now, is I'm getting the good old vitamin P out of this, is vitamin patience, because I don't think enough of us have vitamin P in our system, which is just, man, be patient with yourself. Just be consistent. If you fall off the rails, okay. It's okay to fall off the rails. You're not the only person in the universe that's fallen off the rails. I mean, I've been doing this for over a year. I've been doing this documentation of my weight loss journey on YouTube for over a year now. And yeah, I've fallen off the rails a couple times, but I always brush myself off. I get back up and I try to do it better next week. Or I just try to continue on where I left off, from wherever I might have made a mistake. Because sometimes we're just human. We just have to remember we're just human. But I think what happens with a lot of people is they use that, okay, we're just human, but they use that as an excuse to fall off the rails. It's like, okay, well, I'm allowed to make mistakes, so now I'm just going to go eat a piece of cake, and then I'm going to have some cookies, and then I'm going to wreck it. Well, okay, that's fine if you do it for one day or one night. Or a special occasion. Not a big deal, because I'll eat a piece of cheesecake on my anniversary. I'll eat a piece of cake on my birthday. If somebody makes something special on a special occasion, I got through Christmas and Thanksgiving, no problem at all. I was total carnivore through those holidays. I was super stressed out because I usually go to the walls on food and stuff like that on the holidays, especially Christmas and Thanksgiving. I actually removed myself a little bit early before dessert was served, because my relatives tend to make some Pretty good desserts, pies. My sister-in-law specifically, she makes some really good pies, and it would have been hard for me to say no if she offered me some. And they all know what I'm doing for my diet, so it's not too bad. Is drinking milk good or bad for you? For me personally, it doesn't work out too well because the majority of the population is lactose intolerant. Just most people don't realize that we've just tolerated lactose. But when we remove stuff like milk, for instance, our health tends to get better. It's kind of like removing bread. I mean, I used to love bread. I was always into the bread. I had no idea what gluten was. I didn't know what a gluten looked like. I didn't know that getting gluten type foods out of my diet was going to make such a dramatic improvement. Uh, so throughout this weight loss journey, I have had some bread just to see how I felt. Absolute mess. Every time I added bread, any type of bread, I'd feel like an absolute mess. Now, the one thing I didn't have a problem with for some odd reason is like a corn flour tortilla. I didn't have any problems with that. I didn't have any crazy spikes. I didn't have any, crazy mood swings or inflammation in my legs or cramps or joints or stuff like that. And that was surprising because I was expecting to feel a certain way. So basically, how the process works is you just remove everything for a period of time. You just add something simple back in. If you want to have a burrito night, have a burrito night. Have tacos. See how you feel. 2 or 3 days later, just try something and then go right back to eating meat for a little while and see how you feel. If something makes you feel a certain way, all right, take a note, write notes down. I got notebooks, all through my phone. My phone is my notebook. I got a little thing here. I just type in all my stuff through the week, things that I want to remember, little reminders. And as long as I type them down, I really don't have to go back and look at them too often, because then it's kind of like imprinted in the back of my brain. What happened when and what did what, how I felt when I wanted to eat certain foods. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of milk. Mother's milk is the most natural milk that I think we've all had at some point, or at least most of us had. Have you looked at the ingredients on baby formula? That one blew me away. So I used to do these Walmart walkthroughs and all different type of store walkthroughs, and I was checking out prices and shortages and stuff like that. Baby formula was a problem, but I never once did turn around the package of baby formula. Baby formula, some of it is just some of the first ingredients on baby formula is sugar. Why are we giving babies sugar? Soy, that's another thing. That's another problematic ingredient in a lot of baby formula is soy. There's a lot of other artificial ingredients in baby formula that just blew me away. I was like, holy moly, what are we doing here? And this is stuff that I gave to my son. When I was a kid, I didn't know any better, but now it's terrifying. If your kids can have breast milk, absolutely give them breast milk. I mean, the best possible solution to feed a baby if you can do that. But if you can't, yeah, you got to be careful with what's in the packaging, because they're basically just setting up future diabetics, from early on. So I remember the gluten-free first because popular. I went to Walmart and they had a sign over the oranges that said, I don't know why a lot of these products say gluten-free. Hello, son.
Hi.
My son's home from work. Well, yeah, there's so many things out there now that say gluten-free. It's like, really, why? I wonder if this, let's see, certified something. No, this doesn't say gluten-free. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of crap out there to just say gluten-free on it for no reason. No, this one does have a warning. These are oysters here. It does have a warning label on it. It says, caution, occasional shell fragments may be present. That's shellfish. I mean, if you're allergic to shellfish, don't eat these. But yeah, sardines, I don't think they say gluten-free because really it's just a nonsense statement, in my opinion. It's kind of like Cheerios saying heart healthy on the package. It's a nonsense statement. It's one of those feel-good statements. It's kind of like packaging, what is it, those deep-fried veggie sticks in a green package, and Yeah, they're not healthy for you. They say veggie sticks. There's no vegetable in them. Artificial food coloring goes in those things. Scary, scary stuff. Stop shaking everything. Well, okay, let's see what else is going on here. What else you guys want to talk about today while we're here? Yeah, cats are gluten free. Absolutely, gluten free tends to equal sugar and starch filled foods. It seems like every gluten free option tends to come with some like weird cellulose or anti-caking agent or just something just odd, something that doesn't really belong there. And it's like, a lot of these companies, they would be a lot more successful if they would stop cutting corners on ingredients and using crap ingredients and keeping their clientele healthier. They'd be way ahead of the game. People would be no problem spending another dollar on something, even for like ketchup. People would spend an extra dollar on ketchup as long as it was healthy. And people do. It's just not enough people know, to look at the ingredient labels on something as, everyday average ketchup. It's just so weird. Let's see. Chicky Mama Cat, because of people like me who has celiac disease, it's important. It's a health risk for me. My body literally starts attacking. Ooh, that's a horrible way to go about life. That sucks, man. I don't know anything about celiac disease. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Let's see. Okay, a little fine, very little. I eat carnivore for $140 a month. Wow, that's expensive. I can't afford that much. I don't think I'm spending. I might be spending that much. I don't know when I break it all down. Let's see. I go through about 10 pounds of hamburger meat, which is a little bit over $30. Now the chomps, package of those, about one of those packages a week. That's about $30, I think. And then the think beef sticks, that's another $30. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, when I break that down into a monthly bill, that's around 120, 140 a month. Yeah, that's affordable. It just sounds like a lot of money at one whack there. Your body cannot process wheat, barley, malt, along with other grains. I think that's kind of where I'm at now. I don't know if it's how I started out or if it's something that just gradually happened as I screwed myself up over the years, just eating all kinds of crap food. From an animal that's carnivore depends on how strict you want to be. Let's see. My best friend has celiac and she gets gluten. It could end her in the hospital. That's scary. Yeah, my little brother said he had he removed gluten from his diet a while ago. He's a pretty skinny guy, and he said it was really messing him up. And I never really, at that time, I didn't care. I was eating a lot of gluten. I was eating pasta. I was, always going to Subway. Because you remember that Subway guy, whoever that guy was. But yeah, he kind of had us all on Subway for a while. And I thought it was a great idea. Oh, you got more eggs?
Uh-huh.
You go to Walmart?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed a Walmart trip. Oh well. She didn't tell me she was going to Walmart. We could have all went to Walmart together. That could have been fun, but I'm still not dressed in my pajamas. Well, actually, I guess that would be socially acceptable if I went to Walmart in my pajamas, especially if you're in southern United States. That was pretty normal down there. Some people don't even get dressed to go to Walmart. They just kind of walk in their underwear. So something I did want to try in the next couple of weeks was trying to make some carnivore type bread. So either burger buns or something like a tortilla using powdered egg whites. I just need to get some powdered egg whites. Let's see, is it cottage cheese? I don't remember if it's cottage cheese or something else. I'll have to look into it, but it's something I did want to start. I'll probably do a live stream on that because I love doing live streams like this, especially when I'm in the kitchen just goofing around. Everything's natural. We can all have a laugh at my screw ups because I love to I don't care if I make mistakes on camera. It's not about perfection here. It's about learning. And I've learned a lot just by doing these live streams and cooking on a live stream and then just like bouncing ideas back and forth with each other. I had no idea when I first got started that, olive oil, for instance, I was trying to sear a steak in olive oil. I didn't realize that that's a bad idea. Olive oil, when it's overheated to the point where you're searing steak, actually turns into a carcinogen. And that's similar to heating up uh, food coloring. If you overheat food coloring, almost every single food coloring out there turns into a carcinogen when it's overheated. So think about that next time you're eating some of those yummy food coloring additives. It's not the greatest thing. John Chris Cooking in Nashville has a great carnivore hamburger bun recipe. Yes, he does. I absolutely love the guy. I haven't talked to him in a while because I've been really busy with work and life. But there was a time I did talk to him about this. I said I wanted to take a lot of his recipes and try to recreate, his monologue of cooking recipes just on my channel. He said sounds like a great idea. But I was the one that bounced the idea of a carnivore type Cheez-It off him. I was badgering him for that recipe. He did it successfully. I have yet to have had time to try it and make it myself, but I was just super happy that he came up with something as quick as he did. It took him about a month because he had other projects and videos going on, but he got it done. He produced the video. So yeah, definitely check out Chris Cooks in Nashville if you're interested in all kinds of different carnivore, keto-friendly type recipes. Not everything has to be carnivore. He doesn't do everything 100% carnivore, but he tries to do a KetoVore to a carnivore type recipe in there. Yeah, we say no to seed oils all the time. Seed oils make my legs swell. I had no idea how swollen my head was until it started like reducing in size, and it happened pretty quickly because it was like the swelling in my leg and my hands and my feet went away pretty instantaneously when I started the carnivore diet. I started doing fasting and keto, but it really started reducing when I was doing carnivore. And then all of a sudden, within like a week or two, I could like feel my head like almost just, it was like shrinking. It was so strange how it happened. But that was when my neck pain went away. So I always had neck pain from when I slept. And also when I drive a truck, because when you're driving a truck, you're always like kind of looking down, you're looking up at the traffic lights, and it kind of puts a crick in your neck. That pain went away. It was such a nice feeling when that neck pain went away. I mean, actually when all of the crazy knee pains I had, I mean, I couldn't hardly do anything. My knees hurt so bad for so long because I had so much water retention going on in my knees. Let's see what's going on there. It depends on what type of olive oil. I have a small World Oil Market store. There's a huge difference in flavor and quality. There are some for high temperatures. Yeah, but that's the problem when living in Alaska is I don't know if I have that many options up here. Pretty much my options are what I can find at Costco. And I found out that, if I could use butter, I can use beef tallow. Beef tallow works really well, by the way. Somebody sent me some of that Wagyu beef tallow. I still have a lot of it left. And I plan on buying some more. There's also ghee, which works really well. I've yet to buy any ghee or tried to work with ghee yet, but I'm planning on it. As our financial situation improves, there's going to be a whole lot of different things coming in and out of here. But first off, is we need to get my wife's Jeep fixed. It's still sitting in the driveway with a broken transmission. Lard is great. Bacon grease, I've used that for searing as well. I just made a pound of bacon today, and I think about 3/4 of that pound survived. I usually every time I go over to flip it and remove some, I usually have a treat, and I think I ate about 6 pieces while I was cooking it today. I fed my wife quite a bit. My daughter had some, but I actually have a full Tupperware full of bacon today, which is so odd because usually I have hardly any bacon left. McDonald's French fries used to be cooked in, yes, they did. They really screwed the pooch when they changed from beef tallow to their vegetable nonsense. I mean, can you believe that? For a long time, McDonald's French fries were not super high on the junk food list, until they changed those ingredients for the fry oil. That's crazy. I mean, but I also realized, I believe that was around, what was it, 96? Or I don't know. I did some research on it. It was in the 90s, mid 90s, when McDonald's did the switch But that was also around the same time frame that a lot of people started becoming more obese. And, I hate pointing fingers at just one business saying like they're the cause, because they're not. It's not just them. It was a lot of other companies and corporations also made the switch to cheaper products, cheaper overly processed oils and products like that, hydrogenated oils. It's like, oh, I mean, it really screwed us up, screwed all of us up. And I was just part of it, part of many. Yeah, they tasted good back then. I remember as a kid, those were something that I really liked. Burger King had a really funny trick to making their fries too. I can't remember how they did it, but they had a really nice, hard, crispy outside. And the funny thing is I don't miss them. I don't miss them at all. Um, the one thing I do miss potato wise is actual made home fries, not the deep fried home fries. I'm talking about you chop up a freaking onion, you throw it on the grill, and you just let them brown on either side, salt and pepper, maybe cook it in some butter, some onions. Yeah, those I do kind of miss, but I don't miss them so bad that I'm going to run out and ask for them because nobody makes them anymore. Yes, you get home fries now, they give you a half a freaking plate covered in these deep fried little potato pellets, and they're overcooked in the first place. So you already know there's a problem there. And it's like they're giving away the potatoes, but they don't want to give you the meat. And the meat's what makes us full. Let's see, I prepped 6 pounds 2 days ago. By the time I was done there was less than 3 pounds. Oh yeah, bacon's crazy like that. I missed the sale at our Costco business center the other day. We had like what was it, pork belly for 93 cents a pound, and it wasn't that price when I went yesterday. I did get the pork loin. That was 97 cents a pound. Just what the heck, something different. I typically don't go for the pork. The beef makes me, beef in general just makes me feel good, makes me feel great. Pork kind of makes me feel a little sluggish, so I just kind of try to stay away from that. I did want to make I need to get the ingredients in the next couple of weeks. I also want to make another carnivore chicken crust pizza, but I want to try to do it a little bit different next time with some a little bit healthier ingredients if I can come up with it. I just read recently science is finding microplastics in sperm. That's amazing. That's kind of like nonsense type research. Why are they looking for microplastics in sperm? I don't know. That's strange. Let's see. There sure are lots of sirens today. Well, we do live in a city, and we have a lot of people that like to overdose, and that's typically why we hear a lot of sirens. That's pretty sad. Let's see. I agree. There's something in the beef that seems to help. Beef just has a lot of the connective tissues. Has a lot of fat, connective tissues. Ground beef specifically, because it's just all mixed in the same thing. And then if they're trying to make a certain percentage, they'll just take extra cuttings and they'll just up it that way. And I think that's why the ground beef just works really, really well. Now a nice fatty ribeye, oh yeah, that feels great when it's going down. It feels even better for the next couple of days. I like a nice ribeye steak. I just can't really afford them right now. I was looking at the loin. What was it, tenderloins? The big giant packages of tenderloin they have at Costco. I just couldn't justify spending almost $100 on that right now. I plan on doing that at some point again because I really enjoyed that, cutting up my own steaks, knowing I had 20 different size steaks sitting in my freezer. That was kind of made a guy feel like pretty, yeah, doing okay now. But that was a one-time thing, and then we hit some financial hard times. So yeah, we got to put that stuff. Will you stop tearing up my couch? I got you. Bill Knott bought you a nice little cat tree to claw up. You better go inside and play on it. He did. That was a nice present that he sent us. Was a cat tree. Cats love it. They sit in the window. But at that time we didn't have outside cats. But it got so blistering hot here that we had to open the doors. So I was like, you know what? I hope the cats don't run away. But they all pretty much just stick around the yard. So we're pretty lucky there. Yes, we do hunt for meat. Mainly we go for fish. The wife usually likes to get out. She does a lot of the silver salmon fishing. I have other relatives that go out bear hunting and moose hunting. Moose, we love it when we get moose. None of it goes to waste. That's so funny. I was talking to this one guy yesterday because we were talking about, the benefits of eating meat compared to vegetables, and I asked him, a serious question. I said, okay, how often? First thing I asked him was, how often do you throw away meat? And he said, pretty much never. I said, and then when it does go bad, what do you do with it? You feed it to the dog, right? He's like, yeah, that's exactly what I do with it. I feed it to the dog when it looks a little funny. And I was like, okay, so it doesn't get thrown away, it gets put to use. I said, but what do you do with your vegetables? How many vegetables have you thrown away over the years? And he's like, oh my goodness, like hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars worth of vegetables. I said, yeah. I said, we tend to go out and we buy all these vegetables, we buy all these fruits, and then we throw them in the garbage when they go bad. I mean, some people use them in their compost pile. I get that, but not everybody has a compost pile. A lot of people are renting. They don't even have that option to compost. So, yeah, there's a lot of money that's just being wasted needlessly on rotten vegetables, rotten fruits, stuff that just sits in the fridge for too long or gets an odor because there's something going on, somebody's funky fridge. But you guys get what I'm talking about here. And yeah, that was something that hit me early on, when I started the carnivore diet, because I was one of those that I was like, I can't do that. It's too expensive. I was also, when I was morbidly obese, I was also like, oh, I can't eat healthy. It's too expensive. But at that time, my health was declining so rapidly that, I was on a CPAP. Those things cost a lot of money. CPAPs, the CPAP mask, the supplies, the filters, the next CPAP mask, because that one doesn't fit right. And as I was going through my weight loss, my favorite CPAP mask wouldn't fit my face anymore because my face shrunk. So I needed another CPAP mask. Thankfully, I had an arsenal of different types of CPAP masks in there that I could use. But I think my point is that, an average person doesn't have that many masks available at their disposal, or that many CPAP machines. If one breaks down, I have 3 CPAP. No, I have 4 of them back there. 4 workable, maybe 5. One of them I wouldn't use. I might use it, might wire it up, make a homemade smoker out of it, just to pump smoke into my grill, but to smoke some meat. But yeah, I got all these extra, because we're Alaskan. We gotta like hoard our stuff for certain things. If it's a medical issue, then yeah, I gotta have one. But yeah, carnivore cured my sleep apnea. I haven't slept with my CPAP machine, and I don't remember how long. Whenever I did that video about when I was cured. But yeah, I was just so surprised. And so many people want to argue me about like, oh, carnivore didn't cure it and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, you can toss the idea around that like 12 different things did it, but either way, it's done. I don't require it. I went to a doctor and they, wrote on a piece of paper that, yeah, it's not necessary anymore. But yeah, it's just one of those fantastic side effects of carnivores. You can potentially reverse your sleep apnea. And then there's those, naysayers. They're like, oh, well, don't be getting people's hopes up. I said, well, why wouldn't I get people's hopes up? Somebody got my hopes up when I was first diagnosed with sleep apnea, and that was the nurse. She was morbidly obese at one point. She had really severe sleep apnea, and she got off of her machine by losing weight. And that lady herself is the one that, gave me enough hope throughout this whole thing to think that it was possible that, hey, maybe with weight loss, I can actually get off a CPAP machine. I won't require it. I can go, camping or spend the night at relatives' homes and not have to drag this silly machine with me everywhere I go. And I was just blown away that, hey, it did work. So, I mean, yeah, don't take away people's hopes. Don't take away people's dreams just because something didn't work for you. I'm not going to discourage somebody from doing any different type of diet as long as it works for them. Great. If it works for you, good. But guess what? If it doesn't work for you, hey, come on over here. We'll have a conversation about maybe eat some more meats and fats. But one thing the carnivore diet has in common with every single diet out there, and this is the one thing that it does have in common, is that every single diet out there that I have ever found tells you to increase your protein. Increase your protein intake. Every single one. They say eat more protein, feel full. Okay. Carnivore diet all the way. That's what you do. Eat more protein, you feel full. The biggest difference is we're cutting out all the sugars and crap, the stuff that turns to sugar. So we're not we don't have to deal with that equation anymore. We don't have to deal with the potential diabetes anymore. I mean, if you want diabetes, fine, do whatever you want. It's easy to have diabetes because there's so many people out there now that have diabetes and haven't figured out how to reverse it or make it any better. It's crazy. Let's see, that's wonderful. And you're still vaping. Yep, I'm still vaping. I have had bear meat. It was the most delicious meat I've ever tasted. Now, the problem with bear meat is most people don't know how to cook bear meat. You have to cook it, and then you have to cook it some more, and then you have to cook it again like you hate it. It's the weirdest. It's kind of like pork in a way. It's kind of like cooking pork. You got to cook it and then keep cooking it, and you got to really, really cook bear meat. Hi. Why are you being so frisky all of a sudden? Ugh, come here, you. You just want to be a center of attention, huh? Why keep buying those chips?
They're good for you.
Yeah, you're gonna get an ulcer.
That's fine.
Ugh, flaming hot Doritos.
I wish I had Carolina Reaper ones. Those things are good.
They might taste good. They're not good for you. I want to do a fat fast soon. That's something that would probably not be on my radar, is a fat fast. I had a hard time just wrapping my head around people that were eating butter, like just regular butter. I couldn't even imagine. And I tried it too. I tried putting butter in my coffee. I wasn't a huge fan of that. Oh, you're gonna claw me. See you later, bye. But because when I first started carnivore, like I said, I had the wrong type of burger meat. It was too high of a protein, content. It was like 90-95% lean. So it wasn't digesting well. I was having all kinds of digestive issues. So I was eating a lot of extra butter to try to balance it out. Something else I was doing later on, because I was still having a hard time. It took me almost 30 to 60 days to transition pretty decently, even into, my own form of carnivore, which is 90-10. And I was having severe digestive issues, and I was reaching out to all the people, that are doing carnivore, keto friends included. And even some of the carnivore people, they said, hey, try coconut oil. Go get some coconut oil. This might help you. It'll help you, pass your stool for the time being until everything just settles down. They did say to increase my magnesium intake, so I added an extra magnesium supplement. It all helped. It all helped dramatically. To have regular bowel movement. I wasn't comfortable for about another week to 2 weeks afterwards. So I no longer use coconut oil in my coffee. I don't use it for cooking or anything else, but it served a purpose, and it worked pretty good. And it was actually I believe it was one of my vegan type keto friends that recommended coconut oil in the first place, to help with the digestion, because he knew what I was doing. But there are sensible vegans out there, that you can talk to, and they're pretty smart. They're pretty knowledgeable. They know about, meat-based diets and how they work and stuff like that. Some of them even tried it. Now, one of the things that I did find interesting was, because I did some research on the average age of a vegan, and a lot of the vegans, their age range is around 16 years old to about 34 to 35 years old. And I'm guessing that's for a reason. There's not very many older vegans out there, because they change pretty quickly, either to an omnivore type diet, a keto type diet, or even some of them have even swapped completely over to a carnivore type diet, because there was always something missing, when they were doing a vegan diet. And a carnivore diet just feels natural. It feels healthy. It seems crazy, because the traditional junk food trash that most people are eating nowadays is just normal. That's what people consider normal nowadays. Okay, starting to lose my train of thought here. This is going a little long. I ate fat bombs. I want to try brown butter bites. I haven't. I need to figure out how to make those. Boy, it's actually good and creamy. I think coconut is a seed, but you said no seed oils. Yeah, I do. I try to stay away from the seed oils as much as possible. Now, the coconut is a different type of seed. I mean, it's a different type of seed. It's not the same. And you're not eating the outside of it for the same purposes. Cars had chuck roast on sale for $5 a pound, normally $9. I got 5 of them. Yeah, that's a little out of my price range for the moment. We're gonna have to. So when I shop for meat, I shop for meat in bulk, but I also shop by the price. To me, affordable is like around $3 a pound, and if I can get a lot of it for about $3 a pound, like when I buy my ground beef, I'm looking at the 80/20, 70/30. So either $2.99 a pound or about $3.10 a pound for the 80/20 is about what I'm paying for. But if I can find like the bigger solid chunks of meat, $5 a pound really isn't too bad. But I bought that 5 or 6 pounds of the pork loin. That was 97 cents a pound at Costco Business Center. So I was pretty satisfied there, even though I'm not a big, huge fan of pork or chicken, just because there's not enough fat, there's not enough connective tissue, it doesn't digest quite the same. Beef just seems to win all the way around. Just makes me feel healthy when I eat beef. But hey there. Okay, so this is what the plan is for the week. We're eating these. This is my meals for the week. It's already pre-packaged and everything. There's 6 of them. So starting tomorrow, I'm going to have 1 can of these, 1 can of these. I may mix them up a little bit, but this is all I'm going to be eating for the rest of the week. We're going to try to get some weight loss to trigger here for next week sometime, because I've seriously been on the most ultimate plateau. But my health has improved every single week. My health is still improving. My functionality at work has been improving. I can't complain. So, I mean, even if as long as my weight's staying the same, that's great. But it just seemed a little odd to me that, I was doing every single day last week, 24-hour fasting. And I was still, 24-hour fasting, OMAD, however you want to call it. But I was eating all my calories in a 2-hour feeding window, and I really wasn't getting any weight loss results. So, and I have been a lot more active. That's strange to me, but still, I'm gonna try something pretty dramatic here. We're gonna see how it works, and hopefully we get some results out of it by next week. If you guys are interested in any of this type of stuff here, the carnivore diet, how I'm losing weight, the plans I do, I come back, I'd either do a live stream to update everybody as to what I'm doing, what my progress is. If I have a dramatic weight loss, I'll be making a video about that instead of doing a live stream, because it's just a little more beneficial to my cause on YouTube, is to make some, when I have some dramatic moments. And I do have a playlist of how I've been losing weight in Alaska, which has got every single week up till now. I believe this is week 57 overall of my weight loss journey. I started the carnivore diet back in last September of 2023, and I've been doing some form of carnivore, since then. And I've been pretty much sticking with it. I did 30 solid days of nothing but meats and fats. That was kind of hard for me, but I made it. I wanted to see if there was going to be any difference, doing a 90-10 eating principle or being really, really strict on the carnivore diet. And for me personally, it's just about the same, but I cannot deny that eating at least 90% meats and fats in your diet is beneficial, and it just seems to work for me. But as long as I have that 10%, then I'm not beating myself up if I eat something that's a little outside the realm of the carnivore diet. And that keeps me on track. That keeps me motivated. It keeps me moving forward. I'm only human. If I make some mistakes, I just try to keep them really small and within that 10% range of where I should be. So, just live life and be happy. The Wandering Native says, "Hi, Dad." Is that you, Timothy? Is that your YouTube channel name, Wandering Native? Or is that somebody else? That might be somebody else. Could be my son. I don't know. I don't know what he's got his channel name under. But okay, guys, that about wraps it up. We've been going on for about an hour and a half. We got 16 people in the stream. If you could, just hit that like button on the way out. I appreciate you guys. And if anybody wants to send me a postcard or email, it's attached to the description section in the channel. No, it's Captain Dumb Idea. Oh, my goodness. All right, you guys are great. We're going to fumble through the buttons, and I really do hope you guys take care. and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next time.